Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy P-Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab, and I'm in the book. We doing Egyptian yoga, African religion, volume 2. All right, but we in the middle of the lesson. I'm gonna tell you about how a sage experiences the world from his perspective and pretty much mine. How about that? So let's go. Wrightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive it. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thing and mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right think a way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm no spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. My thinkers, know thyself. Hey, to Mayat be true. Speaking of Mayat, we talk about how a sage experiences P-Funk philosophy on how a sage experiences the world by maintaining and understanding his position in place. Let's start with this one. A sage is somebody who knows what they know. They teach you what they know, but they also practice and live what they know. This is from a sage perspective. If pleasures of the flesh is experienced, a sage accepts it. Okay, fine. But if pleasure is not experienced, a sage also accepts that. Well, there you go. Remember, pay attention. At no time does the absence or the presence of pleasures of the flesh due to worldly objects, people, situations affect the deeper experience of what we call peace and joy, which comes from the inner self, the true self. That's why I feel myself getting anxious, or I take myself to that place. Why? Calm me down, to get me where I need to be, back on point. And they tell you, Wusa, when Martin had the problem, anger management, you got to have that place to go within yourself to control yourself. That's true self-mastery, and that's how a sage lives their life. So therefore, those experiences of pleasure and pain remain in the enlightened state, but they are transcendent with the ever, what? Present knowledge of one's inner self. God, I'm God conscious, so I know everything I'm doing in the flesh is just an experience, just a test. This is a test. Do not respond to every little and everything. It is like standing on the shore and looking out at the ocean. Even though the different waves are there and the ocean cannot be missed. Likewise, a sage looks at the pain and the sorrow of everyday life as waves, but never loses sight of the self, aka the ocean, which surges like an ocean in every corner of creation and in every situation. You have control over yourself. Thus, the awareness in one's mind of the abiding presence of what? The divine wisdom will overpower all disturbances, all obstacles from the outside world, even as those movements change, sounds, situations, the passage of time, emotions, waking, dreaming, dreamless state, etc., don't make a difference. Tahuti, which is your mind. That's the brain of God. That's our mind. He's great at every level. He has to be. Why? He's the thinker. My student said, why don't you call yourself Tahuti? No, you're Tahuti. Okay, how do you know? Your mind is working. When you got somebody who craving knowledge, who are interested in learning, you feed them. You feed them. Many continue after what? The divine awareness have dawned in their mind for the unenlightened sage. Such disturbances are seen as what? Transient, wave-like forms which will soon pass. My mother's favorite phrase, this too soon shall pass. Nothing stayed the same. Good, bad, or indifferent, so that's not profound, but I get it. So there is no need for mourning over attachments that's lost, or leaning upon your past, your present, or your future for anything that is what? Fleeting, meaning you can't rely on none of this. Anything uncertain and unstable, anything that ain't lasting, unchanging, is not real. So, of course, now a sage harbors no physical desires, no longing for anything in the physical material world. So experiences constant. He experiences constant what? Peace and contentment within oneself and bliss eternally. I'm happy with me. When you happy on the inside, everything on the outside don't really mean a damn thing. Be good, bad, or different, but no, you need to start with you. That's the concept, and that's the mindset of a sage, and this is how we view the world. Yeah, I said we. I'm one. Even while carrying out your daily various duties of everyday life or performing the most dynamic work in the service to humanity. I'm fulfilling that one every day. I'm here doing what I do for you that way. The ability to what? Be able to sidestep, slide between the molecules of nonsense like an eel through seaweed, the pitfalls of human ignorance and existence in the form of these attitudes: anger, hatred, greed, pain, sorrow, egoistic desires of the flesh, physical things, material things, etc. All of these will allow a sage to what? Conserve energy and to attune his mind to only the heavenly realms where it is now possible to gain intuitive communion with one's higher self. Stop right there. What? What they're saying is, in life, you can do whatever you want to do, but unless you sit still yourself and have meditation, you're not communing with your higher self. An agitated mind, a busy mind, an occupied mind, a distracted mind can't get to God. Okay? He wants you undivided. That's why the meditation is what? Communing with your higher self. Understand that? So it says here, where we at down here? Okay, here, the higher self, God. And in so doing, now you bring the marvels, the miracles of what we know to be spiritual wisdom to humanity. I share my blessings with my church family on the prayer line. Okay? Simple. Why? Sharing God's goodness. Ain't that the gospel? Ain't that what you're supposed to do? We like to share the bad stuff. Misery love company. Okay? But this is what we know to be the art of living right, which sages live the way in which he or she and they teaches the spiritual aspects of followers for this purpose of leading them to what? Their own spiritual realization and to promote peace and harmony throughout the world. I'm trying to say to the world, yeah, but you can't do that. 10, 20 views a day, ain't gonna get it. So that's not my goal. That's not my objective. That to teach those who want to be taught. I let the world take care of itself. Moving on, but I get the concept. I understand. All right. But in the unenlightened state, we got a lot of people living in the unenlightened state. There is a constant what? Agitated and unrest of one's mind, and they feel themselves to be in what? In the center of that unrest without even knowing it due to their own ignorance. They don't even know that they chasing the hamster wheel, the Ouroboros. They just going around and ain't going nowhere. You flow along with your feelings and believe yourself to be happy when there are favorable conditions. When everything is good, you happy. That's the roller coaster. Okay, watch this. Favorable conditions up, or sad when there are unfavorable conditions down, meaning that you cannot get what you want when you want how you want it. Some people ego don't like that. So in reality, your soul, your innermost self, your true self, is beyond the opposites of the world, which we all experience in this physical plane. But in the astral plane, since it has associated itself with the astral body, the mind and senses, and now your physical body, it has become identified with them and has forgotten its true identity. That's for the unenlightened. They forgot who they was. And like a person who has contracted amnesia, perfect segue. Okay, I hear people saying, they said, remember thyself. I say, know thyself. Meaning finding out, you become conscious. And what they're saying is that means you're going to remember. I ain't got a problem with that. So understand that. So it's like we got amnesia. So how you deal with amnesia? You feed them information to help them get back on track. But this identification with just the physical body has caused you to now believe that you are what? Human being. I'm just Bill. I'm just doing my thing. And you have your human personality, which is all ego. And thus, you are subject to what now? What? Your karmic fate. What's that? Scooby-Doo? What? Karma is you reap what you sow. When you start thinking about all the stuff you did and yeah, there you go. So now your karmic fate of your physical personality, the consequences of your actions, oh, you got to pay for that. And if the body suffers, then you believe I am suffering. The ego, yeah. And if the body experiences pleasures, oh, the ego love that. You believe I'm feeling pleasures, I'm good. That's the ego. With these thoughts, which is wrong, of the body and your body identification, again, which is wrong, in your mind, you believe you are human. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So you are constantly, what? In search of what? Conditions which will provide the greatest pleasure and the least suffering. That's satisfying one's ego. You want what's good. You want to avoid what's bad. But you are the deciding factor. Moving on. That's the ignorance of that whole concept. All right? So, again, where we at? I'm feeling good from, okay, God's the search of the world, the greatest pleasure in the world, suffering, at least suffering. But this is what we call the illusion of duality. You know good from bad. And the ego wants what? What's good. But adverse in life means you're not going to get it, so it's going to be bad. So, again, there you go, in between good or bad, right or wrong. But you are never at rest or what? Truly at peace in mind. Why? Because you consciously or unconsciously, you are always what? Preoccupied with something, with what you can do to promote pleasurable. How can I get some more? How can I, and that was his thing. He had money, drugs, he can get what he wants. Those are bargaining chips, okay? But you promote your pleasurable conditions and to better your circumstances, what? In your favor. Those kind of people. But this mental unrest, and that's what it is, does not end what at the time of death. Why? Your desires for these things won't die with you. They're still going to be around. So your unconscious impressions impel your soul to have what they call after-death experience in the astral plane, the duat. And thus, it is even then for you unable to discover abiding peace or happiness after spending some time in the duat. Now, it then takes on a new physical body, aka you've been reincarnated. You didn't pass, so you gotta come back. Okay, you didn't pass the test of life. And again, that's what we're here for. This is the test. This is the classroom. Physical form for the spirit body. This is the classroom. Can you pass by doing the things you need to do? Simple. And once again, you come here reincarnated in search of what? Happy condition. Then you right back doing it again. That means he didn't learn nothing. Women too. But this is known, watch this, as the cycle of birth and death, aka reincarnation. We know about that. We've been knowing about that. But in life, We search for happiness, but it's not incapable with your daily practice of what? Spiritual disciplines when it's practiced daily. In fact, the true definition of the state of enlightenment, here we go, pay attention, is when the sage lives what? An abiding peace and happiness, bliss within oneself. When you reach that level, you know it. Anybody got to tell you. So the problem is that human ignorance and a lot of that going on, it leads a lot of us to what? Search for happiness. How? Through objects and conditions that are fleeting and therefore is incapable of providing one with peace or happiness. That's why anything that's not internal cannot bring you internal happiness or peace. Things don't do it. Abiding peace, pay attention, cannot be found or had through any activity physically. In this realm of duality, your astral and your physical plane, you have to live accordingly. In fact, any activity that you perform and any achievement that you attain, no happiness, attain, okay, no matter how grand, will what? Someday perish in the vastness of time. Everything that used to be, that's what it is, gone, moving on. Nobody gives a damn, okay? In time, everybody had their time, they 5 minutes of fame, whatever, okay? But time don't give a damn. It just keeps moving, okay? So something that brings happiness today may be boring tomorrow, okay? Again, life. Even the greatest conquerors of the world, watch this, such as Alexander Numbnuts or Julius Caesar, I don't see them as conquerors. Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, they were conquerors. They came and took stuff. They didn't give a damn, okay? But they have been forgotten, yeah. But you put them in history books, you keep them around, yeah. I keep my man around for me, not for nobody else. When I'm gone, it's up to my son from next generation to keep me around spiritually. I got that covered. Don't worry about them. Moving on. And their conquest, lost and dispersed, even though at their height, at the time, they was king shit. They the baddest thing in the world. Yeah, everybody wants that title, but guess what? Everything that went up comes down. So if they were considered almost as gods, no matter how vast your worldly accomplishments may be, no matter how much knowledge you obtain, all that will always be what? Perishable and incapable of providing you with lasting peace. But knowledge of self, becoming conscious, aka a sage, and know God for yourself, live and do the things you need to do, and from a higher point of view, all after your activities is like in a dream. But in the end, nothing has really occurred. So this life, if not lived right, would be more like just a dream that won't even exist. Why? Because your conscious in your physical body will no longer exist. That's what's going to die. If your spirit ain't enlightened, you will, your body will, but the spirit won't get another body. That's the concept. So no matter how real it may have appeared, but you living it like the dream. The dream was real in your mind. When you wake up, yeah, that's how this life is going to be in time. Watch this. So to be upon waking up in the dream world, it vanishes, right? In the morning, you wake up, what you were doing while you were asleep seemed real and wrong. But once you woke up, reality, now wake, oh man, I was rich in my dream. I was so-and-so in my dream. Yeah, in your dream, see, there you go. So now, and all of the attainments and the activities of that dream world will what? Vanish. Same concept about the world, and the sage knows that. So in essence, the dream world that you experience while asleep and the phenomenal world that you experience when you wake are not real. I thought you said, whoa. Reality is defined, pay attention, as that which is what? The same in the beginning, the middle, and the end. God tells you, I'm the Alpha and I'm the Omega. And I'm the middle too. So he's all. That's what the concept is all about. But in reality is unchanging. God is the only reality. Why? He don't change. and abiding in your self-existence to know yourself? Is there any dream world which has these qualities? Is there anything in your universe that does not go through a change from birth to maturity and then to death? Nature, cycle. Therefore, what the senses experience in the time between birth and death of something is really just an illusion. It is not a real perception. It is a manifestation of one's own infinite variety in which consciousness is capable of what projecting in one's mind, his own world. Thus, at no time can the dream be considered to be real. No matter what. Why? It's only in the mind and not in the beginning, in the middle, or even in the end. It is only a relative reality without real substance. Although it's sustained by the reality of the self, that's God, and a sage now looks on the phenomenal world as if it was a dream or mirage and does not fall for the okie doke of the illusions of believing that this world is real and that anything in it is, and that what happens in the world is important to him or her peace and happiness, because it's not. The spirit don't give a damn. Okay, enlighten it, and that's when you get it. People dupe themselves what into believing. Remember, the power of belief is bad. So you believe it that what they are happy. Why? Because they have been able to purchase some expensive items. They're able to do better for themselves. They think, they're good. Or they have achieved some name, some fortune, or fame. Celebrities, stars, walk of fame, all that kind of stuff. They can pretty much live out their fantasies, whatever they want, they can purchase it, they can buy it. That's power to them. In the material world, yeah. Spiritual world means nothing. So, but this happiness that they experience here is not real. Just like the dream. You can be a millionaire, you can be the king, but it ain't real. So, it is full of stress mentally. And in addition, if the object is lost, the happiness that was derived from it dissolved like a cube of ice placed in warm water. Where'd it go? Okay, just like that. And watch this. Therefore, in reality, this type of happiness must be considered to be a form of what? Pain, disguised as pleasure and happiness to the ignorant. I'm gonna stop right there because I got another lesson coming up, part 2, on how the sage experiences the world. I'm gonna give you a little more breakdown on how the sage operates in the physical or the phenomenal world, the physical world, compared to not the dream world or the astral world. When you know the real, you can deal with it for what it is, real, but not real. I'll be right back. Hope you enjoyed so far. Right there, I'll be right back. And in closing, may you all live to be 100 miles a day. So I never done my right fingers who now know how a sage experienced the world and passed away. I'll be right back.